And Ubuntu, welcome friends. So grateful for this opportunity to gather online and talk about what's going on in the world a little bit. Just get our sense of that together and make plans together and meditate and heal and create spaces for peace together. So I'm not seeing anybody actively on the live stream right now, but if you are there, please do introduce yourself in the chat. And if you're watching the recording of this, then please leave a comment and let us know something about the part of the world that you're in. Don't have to go into details, but something that gives us a sense of the global community that we're bringing together. And also, if you want to share something that you're grateful for. It's really hard to find gratitude in difficult times, but it is these difficult times where remembering to find gratitude is so important. We don't realize what a source of strength it is simply to appreciate what's good, what's beautiful, what still brings joy. So offering you some space to think about that. What's good and beautiful about the part of the world where you are right now? And just feel into that. Feel some appreciation. Let it bring a smile to your face and that little bit of joy to your heart. So on these news live streams, we're going to get into a little bit of what's going on in the world, make some comments on that, especially in the context of events. We're also going to talk about actions you can do. And I think, in fact, this week I will do that first. We'll share various eco-spiritual ideas and practices. We will do a guided meditation together toward the closing of this. And then if there are people on live, I might talk a little bit more about local events and respond to chat. So we'll see how that plays out. But I wanted to bring us first into actions. And a lot of these actions, I've already put links in the description. And for the rest, I will make sure to put links in the description, the doobly-doo, as the Vlogbrothers call it, so that you can follow up right away after watching this, or even do it now. But I'll show you a little bit about what some of these look like. So first of all, I'll be talking more about this as we move through this session, but you can register to attend a talk about the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit that's happening next month. And there's an upcoming meeting on the 26th at 6 p.m. Pacific time to talk about what APEC means in terms of Indigenous rights, in terms of care for the land, climate. And this, I believe, will be a bilingual or will at least offer translation. So really encourage you to register for that and check that out. And again, I'll make sure the link is available in the video description. Next action that you can take this week. Lots of good actions came since our last event. Amazon Watch is looking for people to sign on to this petition calling for the Italian export agency to stop insuring lines of credit for Peru and the destructive operations in the Peruvian Amazon, affecting various groups of indigenous people, including the Chapra Nation, the Wampis Nation, the Achuar Federation, the Kandoshi, and the Cabo Blanco Fishermen's Association. So encouraging you to sign on to that to protect the Amazon. If you haven't heard about the Buy Nothing movement and Buy Nothing communities, now is a great time to find out about that, especially as we sadly globally start to move into what becomes this like season of shopping. And for many years, I've been doing my best to participate in Buy Nothing holidays as well. But you can find out about supportive sharing communities through buynothingproject.org and their Find a Group option. The next few actions I'm going to suggest this week are a little bit more location specific. And and I forgot to cover this, but this is part of why on this Ecospiritual news, you can see why we are emphasizing actions that you can take. Novasutras is about enacting change through eco-spiritual community. As we come together, we have opportunities to reawaken our deep connections with the living world so that we can reclaim our joy, so that we can honor our pain, so that we can grow trusted relationships, and so that we can take meaningful action in service to all life. We believe that, as Van Jones said, it is in this convergence of spiritual people becoming active and active people becoming spiritual that the hope of humanity now rests. And in fact, the fate of so many other beings all around this world that is so dependent on the choices we make as humans in the days to come, in the years to come. So another action that you can take, if you've got a phone handy, go ahead and just use your QR code reader and you can get right into it. But encouraging you to join this Climate Action Now. It's a mobile phone app, and it will give you online actions that you can take. And they're recommending do 3 a day. And this is sending emails, signing petitions, or sometimes just getting informed or otherwise engaging. And they've set it up to be really easy and user-friendly, and you can work with their tools to keep track of your activism. So that one's really exciting. I found out about it at a webinar last week. But you can just go to climateactionnow.com is another place to get started and get plugged in. Most of their actions are US focused. They want to know where you are so that you can write. I've been doing a lot of letters where I'm writing letters, a lot of actions where I'm writing letters to the governor and my state representatives, which is something that is a little harder to find. So being able to do that a little bit closer to home kind of online action is really powerful. So I'm very excited about that. Another thing that you can check out if you're, sorry, that'll come up, don't worry. Here's the Climate Action Now website. And again, you can download the app for either of the major flavors of mobile device. Another one that's really US focused is the Environmental Voter Project. And this is a way to remind people who are environmentalists to get out and vote when they have opportunities to vote. So it's nicely nonpartisan way to do phone banking and just make sure that people who are environmentally concerned are going out and voting for policies and representatives that share their concern about the environment. So a really, really good project to get engaged with if you're in the US. Also, once again, there is a call to act on the Dakota Access Pipeline with a deadline in a couple of weeks to write letters to encourage that this harmful fossil fuel pipeline be shut down. And the indigenous peoples of the Dakotas are calling on all of us to write these letters. And this is one of their toolkits provided by People versus Fossil Fuels and the Indigenous Environmental Network. So you can find access to that via that link, tinyurl.com/2023-stop-DAPL. And again, that link will be in the description for the video, so you can get involved in that as well. So next, I'll take us into a little bit of news for the week. Sharing for a moment here. And I was reminded or reawakened to the truth of how much activism is happening right now in the world. Got a newsletter from a climate organizer, Ted Glick, and he talks about direct action being on the rise, and specifically that he, like several of my other friends, shout out to Pat and Raylene, were involved in resisting the Mountain Valley Pipeline, with many arrests taking place there. All kinds of climate finance activism has been going on in 2023. And is there more to come? Oh, yes, there is. You will be hearing about that here and hopefully on local news channels near you, wherever you might be. But one of the best leverage points that we have right now is going after the businesses like banks, like insurance companies, like investment firms, who are providing the financial support that is allowing expansion of fossil fuel industries to take place. They are enabling this by where they're directing their money and the policies that they're setting up. So, because unlike, going straight to the fossil fuel companies where that is what they do, so of course telling them to stop is telling them to disrupt and disband their companies. And by the way, if you are a representative of a fossil fuel company, let's think about just what would it feel like to just go ahead and shut the business down, walk away, do it now. But legally, that's a bit of a challenge, especially in places where there are shareholders and requirements to try to maximize profits for shareholders. So it's very hard for these fossil fuel companies to shut down unless they are shut down by outside forces, by the inability to do business. And one of the ways that we can make them unable to do business is to make them unable to get financing and get insurance. And the financing and insurance companies, the banks and investment firms, fossil fuels is not their only way to make money. So they do have the option of just saying that they're not going to finance fossil fuels anymore. So I've been actively involved. There's a large coalition of groups called Stop the Money Pipeline that includes 350.org and Greenpeace and Rainforest Action Network and many others who have recognized that this is a place where we can all agree that we need to put pressure. And locally here in the Bay Area, there's a wide coalition of organizations that are working to send the message to fossil fuel financiers that we, the people, believe they need to change their policies. They have the opportunity. They can do this now. So that's been, that kind of climate justice finance activism has been really prominent. You may have heard of this great new group called Climate Defiance. I go here to share the screen. Here we go. There we go. Okay. So Climate Defiance is a group that's one of their major tactics, and what you may have seen is going after people with some power and some voice, be it politicians or business leaders, going to places where they are showing up and speaking, and instead raising their voices a little bit louder to call them out on what they might be doing to take care of the climate. And this is a youth-driven action, really powerful stuff, kind of disruptive. And I love what they have to say about it. They say, when doing direct action puts the state in a double bind, they can either allow the action and the disruption to continue, or they can crack down. And time again, history has shown when they crack down, that further drives up public support for the cause. So this is why these kind of disruptive actions can be so powerful. If they're done nonviolently, if they are simply making it difficult for business as usual, harmful business as usual to continue, they can be very powerful actions. So thank you, Climate Defiance, for the work that you do. Again, I encourage you to find out more about them and get involved if that's something that appeals to you. Another major focus for climate justice, labor rights, and other activists is going to be the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation. Whoop. Hang on, where'd it go? There we go. Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit that's happening in San Francisco starting in the second week of November. So there's going to be a People's Counter Summit event, November 11th. And that's a Saturday. Sunday, November 12th, there will be a mass mobilization in San Francisco. There are a variety of autonomous small group actions that are going to be happening around the Bay Area during the week of the summit, and an intention for mass direct action at the CEO Summit for APEC, this Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit, on November 15th. The bit.ly site there will get you connected with people who are organizing for November 15th and you can find out more about that. There's also a link tree for Resist APEC, including a pledge to resist and an option to sign up for direct action training with local organizers in the Oil and Gas Action Network. If you are not able to come out to San Francisco, there are options to donate to support the work that we're doing, to support all this organizing work. Even doing things as simple as like printing up these postcards. That doesn't come free. And so if you want to help support that, check out the links for how to do that. And if you can come out to San Francisco and be part of these actions, come on out. Well, there are ways to get connected and find out more about it. So hoping that you will take some steps toward working on that as well. Finally, I do want to talk about the global wave of climate action. Yeah. Keep losing track of all of my various control bits here. So the global wave of climate action actually begins on the 1st of the month. And this is, as far as I can tell, this is a very loose and hastily thrown together coalition of people all around the world supporting one another in amplifying climate actions, nonviolent climate actions in the lead up to COP28. That's the Conference of Parties, the UN conference about the state of the climate and climate policy for the world. And as you may know, COP28 is going to be in Dubai, and the lead master of ceremonies, forget exactly what the title is, but the person who will be directing this year's climate is, in fact, someone from the fossil fuel industry. So there's already expectations that in terms of what will actually happen, in the official gatherings of COP28, we are not encouraged that effective climate policy is going to happen. And effective climate policy has to include the most rapid reduction of fossil fuels we can possibly pull off in a way that is just and that harms the fewest people. But the faster we can reduce fossil fuels, the better. We have to stop expanding. So several people from different countries all around the world have decided that they're going to go on a hunger strike in the lead up to and during COP28. They are inviting people who want to do even just a one-day fast in support to pledge to do that and work with them. But even if that's not for you, there are a lot of other actions that you can get involved with to support their efforts. So it's globalwaveofclimateaction.org. And yeah, it's getting started in just about a week with several initiatives, several events happening all around the world. You can see some of these as recorded by Fridays for Future. So this includes your typical Fridays for Future school strikes and sit-ins at like city halls all around the world. But the green tabs are online events. And I am leading several that are marked either in Santa Cruz or Santa Clara. I did some of each since I kind of feel like both of those are my hometown. And most of what I'm doing is working with this other initiative, the Global Synchronized Meditations and Prayers. I have lots of those coming up. And I will talk with you about that as we move into our events. But before I do that, I do want to acknowledge that there are some concerns given the glitches and some issues on their website, given the way that they've described. They haven't specifically laid these out and said, these are our demands that must be met for us to stop our hunger strike, but instead a set of principles. But even those principles have some specifics in them that concern some people, going too far in some places and being fuzzy about technologies and intentions in other places. So that part, maybe not for everyone, things to be worked on. If you want to get involved in working on that, reach out to me. If you're on Deep Transformation Network, you can find where I've posted about how Deep Transformation Network can get involved and help out with that. And I will put a link for that. And this article on the opportunity for Deep Transformation Network to make a difference with global wave of climate action. So I encourage you to read more about it, to think critically about it, but also to offer what help you can with it. And again, what I will be focused on and what I will be personally offering are a lot of global synchronous meditations. Again, these basic principles: lowering atmospheric carbon dioxide as swiftly as we can. They're recommending implementing a carbon price to reflect the true cost of carbon, and they're asking for a really steep one. They are talking about carbon removal and negative emissions. And one of their actions, of course, is a global call for tree plantings. So feeling good about that. And they are very vague about what else they might mean by that. But recognizing that a lot of the participants are from what's been called the Global South. They are from the most affected peoples and areas. They are experiencing the consequences of climate disruption now, and those are deadly consequences. And so the urgency is very clear for these people. And that is why their principles are as extreme as they are. So let's talk about upcoming events. I will continue through this time to be offering also our moon phase meditations. Again, doesn't matter if you're not big on phases of the moon. Novasutras times our events around astronomical happenings as a way to mark the shared journey of our planets and all of its inhabitants. And most of what we work with in these guided meditations I offer are things that are verifiable scientific truths. There's not, some people really love astrology. Some people have an allergic reaction to it. I tend more toward the latter. I'm not big on astrology, but I love astronomy. I love knowing about the context of our planet in space. And the moon phases are a great reminder of that. So you can join me on the 28th for a meditation at the moment of the full moon during a partial lunar eclipse. That's a really interesting time. On October 31st, Deep Transformation Network is offering a listening space. And then November 1st is the beginning of the global wave of climate action. And I will be offering a YouTube-based guided meditation for that. Again, I'll put the link into the description, and you can join for that initial meditation to provide energetic support for climate activists and for the world to get serious about climate action. Also offering later on in that day, these Meditate Together for Regeneration. That's on Zoom. You can find that on, you can find links to it on the novasutras.org events page. We've also got that listed on Eventbrite, and those are listed on the Global Wave of Climate Action Fridays for Future map. Our next newscast, like this one, is going to be on November 6th. Then another moon meditation. So another moon meditation on the 5th, and then our next newscast will be on the 6th. And just to let you know, November 7th is a really big day in Novasutras. That is the astronomical cross quarter or mid-season point, when the sun is directly overhead at 16 degrees, 20 minutes latitude. So we will gather through that moment of the cross quarter of the mid-season point, meditating for well-being on Earth. And that celebration will also include some interactivity. This is going to be over Insight Timer. So if you're using Insight Timer, you should be able to join the chat in that. And we'll be doing a practice about spicy blessings. So again, go to novasutras.org/events, and you can find out more about, follow the link here to find out more about our cross-quarter celebration. November 7th, very busy day, also the date for the monthly live network meeting on Deep Transformation Network. And that will be followed by another meditation for regeneration. So those are the more Novasutras focused events that are happening. And I didn't go back and talk about, but yeah, we've got Thursday, early morning, my time in California, is the Unitarian Universalist Ministry for the Earth meditation. Friday, the 27th, is World Lemur Day. So it's a great time to find out more about lemurs, and International Religious Freedom Day. And then these are a couple of location-specific events. That full moon meditation and the partial lunar eclipse. I don't know why that's showing up on Sunday, but that's actually happening at that time of the full moon on the 28th. People versus Fossil Fuels has their regular Monday gathering. And there's going to be a big event, the Gaian Gathering for Work That Reconnects, starting November 1st as well, and going through the weekend. The Gaian Way has their book club that's meeting on November 2nd. And I believe its third act is calling for power-up days of action on the 3rd and 4th. So those are some of the events coming up that you might want to engage with. And again, please do check out our launch, our meditation for the launch of the global wave of climate action, really setting an intention for peace and solidarity and strength, and lots of energy for transformative change. So hope that you can join us for that. Okay. So now I'd like to invite us to really work on that transformative energy for change. And to do that, we're going to get into a little meditation. So I invite you now to start to make any adjustments your body is asking for to get a little bit more comfortable, to get a little bit more settled, to find comfortable stillness if you can. Not that you can't shift again if your body's really calling out for it, but trying to find a place of peaceful stillness. And as you begin to settle your body, you might soften your gaze. You could even close your eyes if you wish. I'll put on a screen share that might offer some comfort if you want to. Just allow your gaze to be soft and hold an inner vision of the whole earth. What does it feel like to think about the whole earth, this beautiful planet with its thin film of atmosphere, swirling white clouds, ice caps and glaciers, its deep blue oceans, its lakes and rivers, blue splotches and ribbons coursing through the greens of forests and grasslands, the golds and browns of sand, stone, dry winter forests, autumn forests, awaiting this first snow. Inkling into that beautiful roundness that speaks of the wholeness of Earth. Envisioning it lit up against the deep black of space. All of that color, all of that life. So fragile in our shared fate, traveling through the inhospitability of the universe, yet so vibrant. We know that life on Earth is actively creating conditions that allow more life to flourish, that allow for the continuation and ongoing evolution and diversification of life. Such incredible energy, such remarkable possibility. That we have found a way to thrive together, to make this planet a living, breathing, integrated community. That this incredible process of photosynthesis, capturing the energy from the sun, turning it into energy for life, turning it into sustenance, and releasing oxygen so that animals are possible on this planet. So that we can have things as remarkably complex and graceful as jellyfish, as specialized as barracuda, as vast as singing whales, so that life could move out of the waters and onto the land, creating opportunities for trees to emerge on this planet. And those trees, in turn, creating opportunities for beings that specialize in fruits, in pollinating flowers, each new form of life, making other new forms of life possible. How precious and beautiful and unexpected each form of life on Earth is. Strange beauty of a banana slug. The graceful webs woven by spiders. Power and resilience. Brown bears. cleverness of ravens, and the incredible, creative, and loving capacities of these beings we call humans. We too have emerged from the intricate, interconnected, interdependent community of all life on Earth. Dexterous fingers and clever minds have opened up new possibilities for expression. And lately, in the last few centuries, we have begun to do some things that are profoundly harmful to the other beings with whom we share this planet. For some millennia, we have used our cleverness to find ever more elaborate ways to harm one another. But these tragedies, these sad truths of how humans sometimes are, do not take away the even larger truth of human possibility and the human capacity for care. We have evolved to be compassionate. We have evolved to love children, to appreciate elders, to be in community. It can be so painful when we see the gifts of our creative capacity turned to destruction. The grief that we feel when we see harm being done, when we are tuned to the suffering of others, that grief is a measure of our capacity for love. So I invite you to find that energy of loving kindness that wants to shine forth from you. That sense of care and compassion that wants to ease the suffering of others. And let that blossom in your heart and let that energy move out from your center, allowing it to send ripples out from the place where you are on our planet right now to your neighborhood, wider community, your watershed, allowing it to shine out across your bioregion, continent, and shine all around the world, joining with the energy of others who are meditating every moment of every day. There are so many others meditating for loving kindness, meditating for peace, meditating for healing, meditating that all might be free from suffering. And these meditations, these prayers, we can envision them having an energy that moves around the world, that comes together, reinforcing, strengthening these messages, these intentions of healing the hurts, finding a path to peace, reducing the suffering and harm, that all beings might be well. That all beings now and in the hours, days, years, millennia to come, that all beings have opportunities to thrive and flourish, to experience joy, as we send these wishes, peace and loving kindness, of liberation and joy all around the world. We can feel that they are coming into us, each one of us receiving those whispers from other prayers, other meditations. May all be well. May all be happy. May all find healing and ease. May all experience loving kindness. Feeling those reverberations of the loving kindness and wishes that you send out, of the ones being sent out from so many other places in this world that are quietly coming to you. Allow that energy to be amplified, to flow through you, to fill you from head to toe. As you feel it rising all the way up to the crown of your head, may it help you to make choices that will lead to peace. May it move you to speak words that will help build peace. May that energy be present in your hands as you create, as you care for others, as you do the work that is yours to do. May that energy guide your legs and feet so that you find yourself in places where your gifts are welcomed and needed. As you feel that energy, every cell of your body, let it start to bring some motion, wiggling your toes, wiggling your fingers, be flexing your hands and your feet, your ankles and wrists, your arms and legs, your hips and shoulders, spine and neck, bringing your focus back up. You can open your eyes if they've been closed, and you can let your gaze move around the space that you're in, finding beauty there. The light coming in the window, favorite color, piece of art, maybe a houseplant or a companion animal, whatever that beauty is. Let that be a reminder of all the beauty the world is offering us, of all the possibilities to create peace that we encounter. Thank you all so much for participating in this, for learning what you learn, for following up and acting in ways that help to heal the world and create peace. I want to offer some gratitude to everyone who is working to heal the earth with this recognition that Robin Wall Kimmerer offers us, that as we do this work, the earth will heal us. Hope that you will connect with Novasutras, find our conversations on the Deep Transformation Network, connect with us on the various social media platforms, and especially on Insight Timer. Join us for some of our online events. To say thank you to those who are supporting us on Patreon. Those regular monthly donations are what help make things like this possible, help us keep going. So if you can offer even just $1 a month of support, it makes a difference. So again, thank you for that. And I look forward to our upcoming events. Hope to see you again soon. Be well. Agaya and Ubuntu to all.